Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and in this video we are going to build a game called Arkanoid. If you're unfamiliar with Arkanoid, it's essentially a game where you have a paddle on the bottom of your screen, and that paddle will reflect a ball to destroy bricks in the top of the screen. So we're going to use all the skills that we've developed over this entire term to build this project. It's going to be quite a comprehensive project. So I'm going to just go ahead and get started. I'm going to breeze through some of the stuff that we've already done before because you've already done this twice now. So just kind of bear with me. And if I go too fast, maybe pause the video, go back and repeat sections that I might have gone quickly through. All right, I'm going to bring in my resources here. Oop, my spawn brick is outside of my scripts folder. There we go. I'm going to bring in my sprites folder and my scripts folder here. Okay, let's go into my sprites. I'm going to select all of my sprites by clicking one and then holding shift and clicking the other. And with all of my sprites selected, I'm going to change my pixels per unit to 1 and my filter mode to none. I'm going to hit apply. And I'm going to bring out my hexagon pattern background, and I'll zoom out quite a bit. Let's make sure that that is at 0, 0 in my workspace. Beautiful. Now that my background is in there, I have my border left and border right objects. I'm going to bring these out and place them in their relative right spots. And I'm going to bring border top in. Now border top is going to be at 0 on the X. All right, now I can zoom in on the corners up here and I can match these up kind of where they go. All right, looks good. Let's come over here and match that up right there. Beautiful. So now I have my play space. Now notice that the bottom down here is empty. We are going to fix that. That's going to do something, or that's there for us for later. We're going to do something there. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. All right, next I think we should probably bring in our racket. So I'm going to bring this in. Now, some of you are probably going to see an issue when you try to bring your racket in. It's not going to show up. It'll be hidden behind your background. If that happens, select your background and change this order in layer to -10. Basically, we're going to push that background farther into the back so that we can actually see our racket on top of it. All right, so my racket is here. And let's bring in my ball as well. Let's bring that guy in. Okay, now I have all these objects on my screen. I want to actually add. There's one thing that we're missing. Well, there's quite a few things. First, we're missing our bricks here, which we will do in just a minute. But down here, we're missing a object that will essentially catch the ball if it falls past the paddle and resets our level for us. So we're going to create that. Let's right-click in the hierarchy, click Create Empty. We will rename this to Bottom. Now this is going to be lowercase, B-O-T-T-O-M, lowercase, because the script is looking for this item specifically. We will set this at 0 on the X, and we'll bring it down enough in the Y so we can see it down here. Now this empty object needs a collider, so let's give it a box collider 2D, and let's scroll in on that collider. Hit Edit Collider. And now we can see here there's some little handles. Let's just grab one of those handles and stretch it out. Just stretch this thing out. And we'll keep stretching until it covers the entire bottom down here. I think my dog's knocking on the door. Here, let me let her in real quick. Come on in. We have a visitor with us today. Oh, and I just through thumb. Okay. All right, good. Anyway, so now we have a green outline around here. This is just going to catch our ball if it falls past our paddle. Okay, perfect. Now, the other objects on my game also need a collider as well. So let's select the border right and all the way down to the ball. And I'm just going to hold down Control as I'm selecting the individual items. Come over here, add component, click box collider. Now they all have colliders on them, which is great. That's what we're looking for. And our ball specifically needs a different kind. So our ball and our racket actually both need rigid body 2Ds because our ball is going to be moving and our racket is going to be moving. So let's add rigid body 2Ds to our ball and our racket. Let's turn off gravity and let's constrain our rotation for both of those items. Now the ball specifically, let's select the ball. We actually want to change its mass down to 0.0001, the lowest setting it can be, because we do not want that ball to push our racket out of the way. Okay, at this point we're pretty set, but there is one big thing we're missing, which is our bricks. So let's talk about how we're going to bring our bricks into the game. If you go to Piskel, I already have my bricks made. If you go to Piskel and you make a series of bricks for your Arkanoid game, make them at the dimensions of 32 by 32, right down here. So if you hit resize, you can see it's 32 by 32. The reason why, if you make them bigger, then the script that I wrote is you're gonna have to do some math and modify the script in order for your bricks to fit inside your game. Okay, I had to do some math based on the amount of pixels that we can fit across the screen versus the amount of pixels that were taken up by, you get it. So make your art objects 32 by 32. I've made some very simple looking bricks in this game. You can make yours look as crazy as you want. It's completely up to you. Now, when you're done creating your, and for your different bricks, you want to have multiple bricks as well. Don't just make one brick, make multiple bricks. I have 4 here of different colors. Once you make a brick, all you have to do is hit add new frame. Actually, what you could do is you could just come up here and duplicate that frame to make a new brick. And let's say I want to color this one, ooh, I don't know. Let's make it a nice purple, right? So I can come in here and color that one purple. So now I have 5 bricks instead of just the 4. When you're done with that, you can come over here and export. So just to be clear, I want to make sure that I'm clear. You are making the bricks. You're making the artwork, right? These are mine. These are my bricks. Don't use anyone else's bricks that they've made. You personally are responsible for making the bricks for your game. Okay? All right. Oh, and also keep about 1 pixel on either side. When you're making your brick, keep at least 1 pixel on either side open so that you have a little bit of a buffer. Okay. So over here, I'm going to click export, and then I'm going to select PNG. I want a PNG, and I'm going to download a sprite sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And that's going to say Arkanoid Bricks 1 because I've already downloaded one before. And now that it's downloaded, I can actually just drag it right in. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so this is my sprite sheet. Now you'll notice if I bring this out, let me fix this first. So this is going to be 1 pixel per unit. And it's going to be point, no filter, and I'm going to hit apply. Notice if I bring that out, it just comes out with all 5 bricks. That's not what I want, right? I actually want to split this up so that I can use each brick individually. So I'm going to delete that. And in my sprite options here, I have sprite mode. Sprite mode is going to allow me to set this to a multiple sprite, basically indicating that this has multiple sprites inside of it that I want to access. Next, I have to click Sprite Editor. I'll hit apply. And this menu pops up. This menu allows me to slice my sprite, basically saying I want to indicate which of these items are separate and discrete items in my sprite sheet. So you want to click this little arrow right here. And for type, it's automatic. All these options, just leave them there and click slice. Now that is going to slice all of your objects in your sprite sheet appropriately. And when I hit apply and click this little arrow next to the sprite sheet, I can see that all of my bricks are now loaded into their individual sprites. So I can actually just grab a red brick here and a purple brick here and a green brick there. So I can actually bring my bricks in. And I'm actually going to bring in a copy of each of these because we are now going to make prefabs out of all of these objects. So I'm going to make sure one copy of each brick is on the screen or in my game view or my scene, essentially. I'm going to select all of them and I'm going to add a collider. And I believe that's all I have to do to set up my bricks. Let's go ahead and go back to assets, create a prefab folder because we're going to create prefabs out of these. Prefabs. And I'm going to drop all of these down into my prefabs folder. Oh, I have to do them one at a time. That's fine. Okay, so now I have 5 prefabs, one of each colored type of brick. And now I can go ahead and delete my bricks. Okay, so now we have prefabs of our bricks, but how are we going to actually use them? Well, we need to create a brick spawner, something that spawns our bricks and creates a set of randomized bricks every time we start our game. Luckily, I've written a script to do exactly that. So let's create a new empty game object. We will call this, let's rename it, call it brick. Yeah, brick spawner. That works. And in there, we are going to use the spawn bricks script. We'll throw that over there. Now, up here, notice that I have this arrow next to the word bricks. If I click that arrow, it asks me the size. This is essentially how many bricks are you, how many types of bricks do you have? For me, I have 5, because if we look over here in my prefabs, I have 5 individual prefabs. And then once I hit 5, it's going to give me 5 places to place my individual prefabs. So I'll put in my red and my purple and my blue and my green and my yellow. So all of those are in there. Now, if the script is written correctly and you've implemented your script properly, meaning you have attached your prefabs, you've set the size, when I hit play, we should get a randomly generated a group of bricks here in the center of my screen. Oh, our camera is very small. I forgot to increase the camera size. Let's do that. Okay, now when I press play, I'm actually going to change the background color. Yeah, I like the nice black. Now when I press play, I should get bricks. Hey, there we go, look. And it's random, right? So there's a green and a yellow and a blue and a purple and a blah, 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 right? So it's randomly generated. Here's the nice thing. Every time I play the game, my bricks are going to be in a different order, okay? It mixes up the game, makes it feel a little bit more fresh every time you play it. Okay, so that's working, but we need to get our racket moving back and forth, and we need to get our ball moving, and we need to have our ball actually destroy the bricks. Okay, so let's go in here and let's see, what scripts do we have? Ooh, we forgot to add a script to our brick prefabs. That's okay. I'm going to show you one of the powerful tools that prefabs have. If we go to the prefabs here, we can actually click Open Prefab. And down here, we can add the script. So this block script, we can just drag it over. Now let's do that to all of our prefabs. So you can actually double click to open up the prefab as well. Because that block script is going to make this block get deleted if it comes into contact with the ball. All right. Scripts, block. Oh, prefabs, last one. Okay, good. So now I have that block script attached to each of my prefabs. Let's double check just to make sure and it's there. It's on the blue one, it's on the yellow one. Okay, so my block script is attached to all of my prefabs. Beautiful. Let's see, what other scripts do we have? So we have a racket script and a ball script. I'm assuming, right, that the racket script goes onto the racket. Let's drag that and let's take a look at what we have here. So we have a speed of 150. And then I have a ball script that I'm going to attach to the ball. Okay, and the ball has a speed of 100. Now there's one more thing we need to do to the ball just to make sure that it bounces properly, and that is to add a material. So I'm going to create a materials folder, and inside this folder I'm going to create a new physics material 2D. I'm going to call it ball, and I'm going to set the friction to be 0 and the bounciness to be 1. This is something that we did back in the Pong game. I'm going to select my ball, and I'm going to drop this material onto the collider. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's everything. So let's go ahead and save the project and give it a test. Okay, so I can move my paddle, my ball collides with bricks, collides with the wall. The bricks go away whenever the ball hits them. And my game resets when the paddle hits the floor. So my game works exactly the way it's supposed to. Now, once you get your game working exactly like this, then you are done. That is your power standard. You've completed the first term of this class. You can add to it. You can make it more advanced if you'd like. You can actually look at the scripts that I've written. Now, here's my advice. If you are going to play around in my scripts and you want to figure out how they work and kind of pull them apart, I totally encourage that. But I recommend finishing the project the way it's completed here, and then going into and then opening a new project and starting over from the beginning, and then playing around with the scripts, pulling them apart from there. Because we don't want to break anything before you turn in the project and get your good grade. But I am totally fine with you hacking my scripts apart and changing them, modifying them, making them look good. Let's see. I'm probably not gonna keep playing until this is done, because I know, since I'm the guy who developed the game, I know that there's no actual win condition for this game. You can just clear the bricks and then nothing happens, so you have to reset by letting the ball hit the floor. But I'm kind of obsessed at this point. I wanna finish. Oh, come on. It's always the last brick or two. There it is. And get him. It's not going to get him. Did I get him? Got him. Woo, I win. Perfect. Okay, so now once your game is working perfectly, I just really quickly want to review, because some of you might have gotten lost. So our background, that's fine. We can leave that alone. You probably want to set that to -10 in the layer so that all of our objects show up above it. The main camera, that's just going to be a black background. We have our borders here with box colliders attached to them. We have a racket with a box collider 2D and a rigid body 2D, and a racket script. We have a ball with a box collider 2D with a physics material and a rigid body 2D and a ball script. We have a bottom, which essentially is just called bottom, all lowercase, by the way, with a box collider 2D. And we have a brick spawner that has all of our brick prefabs inside of the brick spawner, and it just basically creates our grid of bricks. All right. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for paying attention. Bye.